I thought you understood that this process was going to be long.
Absolutely. But it has been 3 years. And we have put in about $140 million, so I think that Wade is getting a little bit frustrated.
Wade, if you're not the one calling the shots, then maybe I should just give Wade a call.
We can skip the call, because I'm here.
This scene shows Elizabeth Holmes as an evasive person. So most fraudsters, their MO is to delay. They can't deliver on what they promised, but they've already gotten the money. And that's exactly what happened here. Elizabeth Holmes had milked investors out of hundreds of millions of dollars, or at least that's what the jury thought. So this is a classic example of a fraudster trying to kick the can down the road, rob Peter to pay Paul, or whatever analogy you want to use, to delay until the victims of the fraud realize that they've been duped.
To see a woman leading such a strong company and leading with these huge ideas and doing so in a very technical manner, and how much that does inspire other young women to want to pursue these not only technical dreams, but to not be afraid to dream really big.
Yeah, hello.
John Carew? This is Tyler Schultz.
You know, when people talk about glass ceilings, I always say, next to every glass ceiling, there's an iron lady.
Elizabeth Holmes is such a polarizing figure because she is the youngest self-made billionaire, at least at the time. But that's why Elizabeth Holmes is so polarizing, because she broke through in a very male-dominated field, not just because she was an executive, a CEO of this huge company at a young age, but she was a female and she did it in an engineering or scientific space, which was really unprecedented. So she was really a role model and an inspiration for many young women to break through in a field that they'd been unable to attain that level of success. But at the same time, she had her haters. Could have been men, could have been other women that wanted to see her fail and were happy when it happened.
Wall Street Journal is doing an article about Theranos, and it is, I don't think it's going to be positive. Here are some questions they sent over that they would like you to answer as soon as you possibly can.
Yo, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Mark just downloaded like hundreds of work emails to his personal drive, and now he's headed out of the building.
Mark?
Yeah.
Where's Mark? Mark!
What's he gonna do to him? Sonny!
Mark! Mark! I will sue your ass! Delete those emails! We have an NDA, Mark!
These questions are ridiculous.
And sloppy.
Yeah, he's not a good writer. I tried reading his Medicare thing the other night. It, like, sucked.
No, I mean, he should be more careful. These questions make it obvious who his sources are.
You know who his sources are?
Yes, of
We
course
believe we do.
Two huge things going on here. The first is we finally see how the Wall Street Journal broke this story. It wasn't the SEC, it wasn't the Department of Justice or the U.S. Attorney's Office. It was reporters who did digging, and you gotta credit the investigative journalism in this case. And like many cases, whether it's Britney Spears or R. Kelly, sometimes it's reporters that take the lead on getting criminal justice. This particular case, it was the Wall Street Journal and the reporters there that revealed Theranos' fraud. And like any good reporters, they had their sources. The two best sources of information are exes. Ex-husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, and in this case you have Elizabeth Holmes and Sunny Balwani who are testifying against each other in their respective criminal trials, but also ex-employees. They know where their bodies are buried, and here they have the electronic evidence to prove it. Unfortunately for Sunny and Elizabeth, an NDA does not shield you from criminal liability, cooperating with the government, or otherwise providing evidence in response to a subpoena or a court order. So these NDAs weren't enough to prevent these witnesses from getting on the stand and testifying against their former bosses.
Walk me through some of the language that's been changed recently on the website.
Oh, language on the website.
The phrase, many of our tests only require a few drops of blood. That phrase was recently deleted.
Yes, for marketing accuracy.
Accuracy. So you'd characterize the language before as inaccurate.
All right. We will acknowledge that not every blood test is run on proprietary technology, but they're transitioning. It's a transitional process, a journey.
A journey.
Journey.
All right, this meeting's over.
This is Theranos and their executives trying to convince the Wall Street Journal not to run the story. And when it comes to fraud, what was told investors is everything. So you hear Theranos and their team backpedaling from the statements that a few drops of blood can reveal all sorts of illnesses and that their tests are run on their own machines. These are the first cracks in the foundation in the fraud case, because Elizabeth Holmes is saying one thing and you have Theranos employees who are saying another. So now the journal is seeing that there's a clear disconnect, and people that were defrauded into investing hundreds of millions of dollars into Theranos may have been misled.
I feel devastated that we didn't catch and fix the issue faster.
Do you hold yourself responsible for not hiring the right people, for not having critical oversight?
Like I said, I feel devastated. And we're looking to rebuild from scratch. I'm a better leader now. And like I said, it's devastating.
You're running a healthcare startup. You're dealing with people's lives. You're dealing with test results that doctors use to diagnose their patients. So you would have thought that you would have lab integrity in place from the get-go.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's devastating. Absolutely. But I believe that I don't believe that we put anyone's health in danger.
This scene, it's all fallen apart for Elizabeth Holmes. The government has shut down one of her labs, and we talked about the crack in the foundation earlier. Now the floodgates are wide open. She's doing an interview on national television where she can't explain why the lab was shut down, whether patients' lives have been put at risk. And now that everyone's seen this, they're starting to realize that, hey, she's actually a fraud, and everything that she told the investors and the public may not have been true after all.
When was the last time you had contact with Sunny Balwani?
I think early this year, 2017.
And how'd you meet with him?
It wasn't a meeting. I think I was running, and he was running at the same time. And we passed each other and said hello.
Was there any substance to the conversation?
He said hello, and that was it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
So here we see the videotaped deposition of Elizabeth Holmes. So depositions are something that happen in civil cases, generally not in criminal cases, because you have the right to remain silent in a criminal case. But this is one scene that is slightly inaccurate, because during her deposition testimony, when the SEC got involved and she was sued for fraud, Elizabeth Holmes did invoke her right to remain silent. She didn't answer all these questions, especially about Sunny Balwani and her relationship. So her attorneys knew that criminal charges were coming because they were filed shortly before the deposition. So I think the producers here took a little bit of creative liberties. But what was important was all those I don't recalls, I don't remembers. Because Elizabeth Holmes did take the stand in her criminal case, and she waived her right to remain silent. And when she testified, there were a lot of I don't knows, I don't remember. She couldn't even explain her own emails and text messages. And I think that's one of the primary reasons that jurors convicted her in this case, because her testimony didn't come across as credible. Thanks for watching my commentary of The Dropout. I highly recommend you watch it. It's a very well-made series on Hulu, and it goes to show really how a startup happens. You have Elizabeth Holmes' beginnings. She drops out of Stanford, meets her boyfriend. They start this company. They grow it to a multi-billion-dollar company, and it ends right before trial. And you see how it all comes crumbling down, and then how she tries to really resurrect both her career and try to save her freedom, but ultimately she's unsuccessful because the jury convicts her at trial. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell for more notifications.